All right, so for all you real estate agents out there, here's something that you need to know. The most important thing about growing your real estate business are four things. It's knowledge, it's skill, it's attitude, and it's activities. Now keep in mind, here's how this works. Which one would you label the most important out of those four things? Knowledge, skill, attitude, activities. What a lot of people don't know, it's actually number one. It's actually the number one thing is activities. Doing the right activities is what actually creates the attitude. You see, your activity should actually dictate your attitude, not have your attitude dictate your activities. That's what creates a mega agent versus an average agent. Now, what I want you guys to do is to understand who I have coming up right now. Brian Karp has sold 205 houses last year by himself. This is no joke. So what he is the king of activity. He's going to show you exactly what he's doing. Now, here's one thing you should know. If you notice, we're not holding back. There is no upsell thing. We want you to make sure you have a great experience and build your business up to the way it's never been before. So take notes. Let's go into comments. I want realtors to call this guy on. Everyone put Brian Karp in the comments. Let's see him so we can get this guy on. So we got Brian coming on now. Guys, thank you. You guys are really awesome. This guy is high protein, high octane, and super aggressive. Yeah. We have the Brian Karp. Brian, thank you so much for joining us. I know you're about to wow these guys and explain to them where you came from to where you are today, because I know when I hear you, a lot of people realize that it really is possible to do it, but you just got to do it right. So Brian, please take over.
This is insane, totally insane, JB. I'm going to tell you guys all the story, how I went from selling 3 houses to my friends and family to selling over 200 houses in 1 year without buying one lead or spending $1 on Zillow leads, Penny Saver, Google, anything. I was granted a gift. I was granted an opportunity to change my life and change my family's life. Every single one of you on this stream today has the exact same opportunity. It's like a winning lotto ticket, but are you going to cash it? I'm going to tell you a few stories that changed my life and shaped me and changed my mindset to who I am today. Let me take you back to middle school. I wasn't a bad kid in school. I was just a kid who had zero interest in school. I would sit in science class, very similar to this, on a high top table, and my knees were jumping up and down. There was always a clock frozen right over the door leading to the hallway. It's so funny because that 45-minute science class literally felt like 4 hours. Today, I wake up at 4 a.m., I go to bed at 9 p.m., and the day is gone in a flash. My father said to me, find what you love to do. You never work a day in your life. I found my passion. I found my addiction. I found my obsession. So I don't work a day in my life. I was a huge jock in high school. So after school, my friends would always meet up to play some type of sport. And although that was something I was really, really into and passionate about, it wasn't my addiction. What my addiction was, creating money. So what would I do? I would go 2 or 3 blocks away from my house and I would knock doors and I would convince all of my neighbors to hire me to do any odd job. I don't care if it was mowing your lawn. I don't care if it was raking your leaves. I don't care if it was pulling out all of the dirt and grime in your gutters. I was your guy. It was very funny because all of my friends were always complaining. I have to beg mom and dad for money. But I felt like I was different. I felt like I had a talent. If I needed money, all I had to do was go to the street and I can create money and help people. Sorry, guys, I'm going to grab some water. There's an old fable. Give a man a fish, he eats forever. I feel like I have that exact talent today. If I need more business, If I need more leads, all I have to do is go to the street and I can create more leads and more business and help more people. I'm going to tell you guys a story. One of my jobs at the end of high school was working at a delicatessen called Causeway Deli. This was one of my favorite jobs. I worked the 4 a.m. shift. So I liked that shift so much because all of my friends would sleep till 12, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And by the time they were done with sleeping, I would already have a full work day in. So it was just a typical Tuesday. I opened up the deli. There was these big metal gates in front of the deli. So I would rip them up. I would go inside. I would have to get the coffee pots going, turn all the lights on. Very important getting the fryer going. And I always had a big pile of bacon on one side, huge pile of sausage, and my eggs were right here. All of the construction workers and professional men and women would come in and out, and I would hook them up with all of their deli sandwiches. The phone rings and I pick it up. I said, "Hi, it's Brian from Causeway Deli." And this woman on the other line just started going into it. She said that she had this big July 3rd party scheduled, and she needed a bartender. She needed a bartender from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. And she was telling me how she had the hot dogs and the hamburgers and the fireworks. Before I even had an opportunity, I knew I had to interrupt her because this was not a catering, this was a delicatessen. I said, "I'm sorry, ma'am, this is Causeway Deli." She did not hear one word I had to say. So I kind of had an aha moment. I said, "Hold on 1 second." I put her on hold and I ran to the back of the deli. At this time, we didn't have cordless telephones. So there was literally a phone on the wall with those wires around it. I grabbed it and I said, "Hello, this is Brian Karp from Causeway Catering. How could I help you?" And she went into her whole story, how she needed a bartender for the July 3rd party. So I said to her, "No problem. I'm going to have a bartender there." She said, "I'm willing to spend $150. I said, "Perfect. I'm going to have one of my amazing bartenders there." I hung up the phone and I called my buddy Sean. Sean was already a bartender. And I said, "Sean, how would you like to make some money?" He said, "July 3rd, I can make some money. I love it." I said, "She's willing to pay $150. I'm going to keep 50 and give you 100. Sean loved it. And that's when I had another aha moment that I was different. I was able to create money and I was able to help 2 people. And that's what we all do today. And I do it in real estate every single day. What I do is I match up home sellers with home buyers. It was just around the time when I was graduating high school and I had to make a decision. Was I going to go out into the workforce and start really hustling and grinding, or was I going to go to college? One of the reasons that school was so difficult for me is I have a severe learning disability. I have dyslexia. What is dyslexia? Dyslexia is a learning disability that makes it almost impossible to read and write. Letters, numbers get inversed and reversed around. If it wasn't for modern technologies such as Siri and Alexa, I wouldn't even be able to run my business. Before those technologies existed, it was asking my mom to read me a text message or asking my wife, Jessica, to read me an email. I want you to think about this. I'm 37 years old. I'm running a tremendous real estate business. And when I'm at Chili's with my family, my 7-year-old has to read me the menu. That's my life, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. So I decided I'm going to college. I'm gonna do this. It turns out that I was a very blessed athlete. So Stony Brook University offered me a full scholarship to play football. I don't think Stony Brook had any idea what they were getting themselves into. They knew that I was a tremendous athlete, but I don't think they realized how my disability was going to really hinder everything. So they probably thought they would give me a tutor an hour or 2 a week and we'd push Karp through. But it turned out that I needed a tutor for every single class. I needed a tutor to take the notes, go over the notes with me, read everything to me, study with me, help me write my papers, and read my test to me. But Stony Brook came through and I graduated. I graduated with a 3.8 GPA and as a 2-time All-American. So I just climbed the college hill, and I was on cloud 9, and it was I just finished my second to last football game. So I literally had one football game left, and I had this pain in my groin after the football game. So I'm a big protocol guy. It's all about following the right protocol. So what I do, I went to our trainer and I said, Kathy, I have a pain in my groin. What should I do? She said, Karp, don't worry about it. Hit the ice bath. So what did I do? I hit the ice bath. I hit the ice bath on Monday. I hit the ice bath on Tuesday. And then Wednesday morning came around and I said, Kathy, I'm just still in a lot of pain. She said, Karp, it's nothing. But Dr. Cherney has hours over at Stony Brook. Go over there. He'll check you out. And I said, Kathy, I got to be back by practice at 5 o'clock, because if you don't play in Wednesday's practice, you don't play in the game. And to me at that time, that was my addiction. That was my passion. I could not miss my last college football game. So I run over to the hospital. Nice thing, the athletes never had to wait in line. So they swooped me right into one of the examining rooms. And I'm laying down on the table. Dr. Cherney comes in and they start a sonogram. And Dr. Cherney leaves. He brings another colleague. Those two gentlemen leave. They come back and bring a third, a fourth, and a fifth. That whole situation went on for about 45 minutes. Now, in hindsight, when your doctor is leaving and bringing more people in, I don't think good news is coming out of here. They're not going to tell you something positive. But at that time, literally, I didn't even comprehend it. My biggest thing was, guys, like, I got to get to practice. So stop the shenanigans, stop the chitter chatter. Before I knew it, they put me into a waiting room. So I'm waiting in the waiting room. And I was probably only in there for about 5 minutes, but it felt like a good 2 hours. So I was watching the clock. I knew I had to get back to practice. So I popped my head down the hallway and I was like, Doc, Doc. And finally he came into the room. He came into the room and he said, I don't know how to tell you this. I don't know how to tell you this, but we found a tumor. I said, a tumor? What's a tumor? He explained to me what a tumor was, and he said, we think it's cancerous. 48 hours later, I am on the operating table, and they removed the tumor. And it just turns out it was cancerous. I had to do 4 rounds of chemo. It was literally a nightmare. By the last chemo, I was walking dead. I was so swollen. I was a zombie. But thank God today, I am over 10 years cancer-free. Now, I realized at that point, I was never going to be a doctor like Dr. Cherney. I was never going to be a lawyer. I was never going to be an engineer. So if I was going to make it, if I was going to live up to my potential, if I was going to live up to what my parents always instilled on me that I could be, there was only one way. It's actually the way that I'm going to say a majority of us on this live stream are going to make it. It's through sales. So I got a job. And the job was, I think in my head, it was marrying 2 very important things. It was liquor sales. Okay. So it was working for one of the top distributors. And they had an incredible training program. How did it work? Well, it was a 12-week training program, and every week you were with a different person and you followed them around on their route. So week 1, you're in the Bronx. Week 2, you're in Brooklyn. Week 3, you're in Jackson Heights. It just turned out that the last week you were with Nikolai. Nikolai was the creme de la creme. Every other week, every single liquor rep, all they did was talk about, I got to get Nikolai's route. I got to get on whatever Nikolai's on. Oh my God, I hope he leaves. I hope he goes into management so I can get his route. Nikolai was very stereotypical, the guy with the big dog route. He had the beautiful slick back hair, which I wish I had some today. He had the beautiful BMW. Now it's August. It's in the summer. And I just finished being mentored by every other sales rep. And I'm with Nikolai. We're in his car, and it's about 2:30. We were going to kick off a little bit early. And I'm eating this amazing sandwich at one of the local delis they were known for. Roast beef, melted mozzarella, garlic bread. Nikolai could not stop telling me to make sure I didn't wipe my hands on anything, which is funny because I tell my kids this, but I was grown at that time. So I asked Nikolai a very inappropriate question. I said, Nikolai, how much money are you making? And without even blinking, he told me. So you know what I did? I went home that Friday night and I spoke to Jessica, and I went in Monday morning and I quit. Why did I quit? I quit because if Nikolai was the big dog, if Nikolai had the creme de la creme routes, everybody wanted to make what Nikolai was making. Nikolai wasn't even making what I thought I was worth 1 week. So I quit. I quit with no plan B, with no other job lined up. You are the 5 people you surround yourself with. What do I mean by that? Well, look at your closest friends, look at your closest family, and your success level, your income is very much tied to them. And that's why I had to leave that place. And I left there with no plan B. It happens that somebody gave me, and Charles mentioned this, and that's what me and him have in common. A lot of the speakers today probably do. Someone gave me this book that literally changed my life forever. What book? Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I read the book, and all it really talks about is real estate, entrepreneurship, and passive income. I read the book. Well, actually, you guys are my inner circle now, so you know I didn't read the book. I listened to the book because, you know, your boy doesn't read. And I said, this is it. It just changed everything for me. So what did I do? I ran out and I bought a 2-family house. My beautiful wife, Jessica, was living upstairs with me. We rented out the entire downstairs for $2,000. And my mortgage payment was $1,900 a month. So I was living there making $100 a month. And I had the aha moment, like the light bulb went off. And I'm like, this is it. This is what I'm going to do in my life. I'm going to start buying rental houses. So actually 12 years ago, I got my real estate license for one reason, to be an inside player. But I didn't flip the switch and just go start selling 50 or 100 homes a year. I actually got what a lot of people think is a real job. So I got in the union. I got in Local 12, the Heat and Frost Insulators Union. Okay. I did that while I was starting my real estate business because I still had a family that I was starting and I still needed some income coming in. So what did I do? I woke up very similar to what I do today. I woke up at 4 a.m. I drove into Manhattan and I put insulation on pipes and big metal ducts. I would probably start around 6:30 in the morning, and I would work straight through to around 1 o'clock, 1:30. I would skip lunch. I would skip coffee just to get out 10 or 15 minutes earlier because I knew that the quicker I can get out, the quicker I can get to my passion, my addiction, which was working my real estate business. I want you to think about this. I had 1 month in real estate that I made more money all year in real estate than I did in construction, but I still stayed in construction for 3 more years. Why? Because everything that I do in my life, I don't look at the 1 year. I don't look at the super micro. I look at a macro. So everything I'm doing in my life, in my business, with my family is 3 to 5 years out. Now, on the job site, everybody used to make fun of me because I was always walking around with headphones in. And on a union construction site, you had to have your hard hat on. And I always wore a bandana because I would sweat. And then you had to have your safety goggles. And because I was putting on fiberglass insulation, I wore a full respirator and even like a suit. And I would walk around and everybody always thought that I loved Metallica. I loved Guns N' Roses. I loved Biggie Smalls. But if you really know me, I don't even have a working radio in my car today. I was listening to self-help, self-development, real estate, finance, literally anything I can get my hands on. So I literally feel like I have a doctorate in those areas. There is somebody that I have been obsessed with, absolutely obsessed with for the last decade. His name is Roger Bannister. Do any of you know who Roger Bannister is? Roger Bannister was the first human to ever run the 4-minute mile. So what does that mean? He actually broke the 4-minute mile. Before Roger broke the 4-minute mile, they literally felt like the human heart would rip out of the chest if someone moved that fast. Now, once Roger broke that, many men and women, weeks and months later, broke the 4-minute mile. Why did that happen? Let's really unpack it. It happened because before that, people thought it was impossible. Roger was not superhuman. Roger was not Superman. He wasn't a robot or a Terminator. So what Roger was able to do was change everyone's mindset that it can be accomplished. I hope that I could be this much, the smallest bit of Roger Bannister to you guys. I broke the 100 house mark. And this is not with a team. This is not a brokerage. This is a single real estate agent with a great, amazing admin staff did it. So I broke the 100 house mark. Then I broke the 141, then the 142. And then last year I broke the 200 houses. So it can absolutely be done just like Roger did it. Now let's get into it. Let's really get into it. How did I do it? Get your pens out, okay? Get your highlighters out because I'm gonna pull back the curtain and go into every detail I can. First off, I worked my face off and then, what's the word? Prospected. I prospected until my eyes were bleeding, okay? My first day in real estate, I got in my 2010 Camry, which did not have my face on it. I drove it 2 or 3 blocks away from where I live, and I just started knocking doors, okay? Doesn't that sound very similar to what I did as a young boy to create money? And I just started knocking doors. And what did I say? I said, knock, knock. Hi, I'm Brian Karp from Banana Real Estate. I just got my real estate license. Are you interested in selling? Knock, knock, knock. Hi, it's Brian Karp of Banana Real Estate. It's my second day in real estate. Are you interested in selling your house? Knock, knock, knock. It's Brian, Banana Real Estate. And finally, on the third day, this woman said, I'm not interested, but the person right over there, he's going through a divorce. I bet you he'll be interested. So what did I do? I ran across the street. I knocked on the door. I said, hi, it's Brian Karp with Banana Real Estate. Are you interested in selling? He said, come on in, son. And that was my very first listing. Now let's go into some prospecting methods, some prospecting tools that you guys could do on a daily basis. Expired listings. What's an expired listing? An expired listing is a property that was listed for sale and the original contract with the original listing broker is done. You're allowed to go solicit, or I like to say, introduce yourself once that contract is over. So what do? Well, you could go there in person. Knock, knock, knock. Hi, it's Brian Karp with Banana Real Estate. Are you still interested in selling your home? Or you could pick up the phone. Hi, it's Brian from Banana Real Estate. Are you interested in selling your home? There was a time in 2010, 11, 12, where I was the king of expireds. Now, a lot of you are probably saying, Brian, the expires, they don't really exist anymore. We were in a rocket fuel seller's market. Well, I will tell you, the expireds are coming back, okay? And a lot of you, if you could become amazing at expireds, will totally move your business to the next level. As I was telling you, back in 2008, 2009, 2010, every day when I came back from construction, there would be 5, 6, 7 expireds in all of the neighborhoods that I was always watching. And it was at such a level where if you were a listing agent and your home seller was not going to extend the listing, you would actually tell them, well, you know that Brian Karp's going to be at your door the next morning. What else? What else I got for you? For sale by owners. Fizbos, okay? What's a Fizbo? Fizbo is somebody who has raised their hand that they are interested in selling, okay? And they are trying to do it on their own. What do? Well, you go there, knock on the door, knock, knock, knock. Hi, it's Brian from Banana Real Estate. When are you going to start hiring real estate agents? Or pick up on the phone and say that to them, okay? Withdrawns. Withdrawns is very similar to an expired, but people really don't watch them like they watch expireds. Withdrawns is very similar because they were listed on the market. And what does that mean? It means that they hired a broker to represent them, and for whatever reason, they decided to take it off the market. Maybe they didn't like that broker. Maybe they didn't like the pictures. Maybe they didn't like the marketing. Maybe they got sick, okay? I really believe the withdrawns are the low-hanging fruit of real estate. Grab some water, guys. Cold calling. I love cold calling. There's a few different ways you can cold call, okay? You can cold call that you just sold a house. You can cold call that you just put a house in contract, or you could even cold call about one of your brand new listings. So what I do is, and there's a few different services that will allow you to call more than one number at any given time. But these services allow you to put a pin on a house, draw a circle straight around it, and then you can scoop up all of the phone numbers in the neighborhood. And I just smile and dial. Hi, it's Brian from Banana Real Estate. I just sold your neighbor's house. Are you interested in selling? Hi, it's Brian from Banana Real Estate. I just put your neighbor's house in contract. Are you interested in selling? Hi, it's Brian from Banana Real Estate. I just listed your neighbor's house. So you could do those 3 methods around cold calling, and you could do those around cold doors. Okay, here's another one. This is something that I think I created. It's called creeping foreclosures. You're saying, Brian, what do you mean? What do you mean I'm creeping foreclosures? Okay, what you do is you look on the MLS, multiple listing services for REO or foreclosure properties that have sold. You could also go on Hubzu and auction.com, or you could even go to the courthouse steps, or if you're driving around the neighborhood and you see a big dumpster and a crew of people working. What you do is you do not try to solicit yourself to the bank or try to become one of the REO agents. We could talk about that on another call. What you try to do is you try to introduce yourself to the person who just purchased that house. So 95% of the times it's not going to an end user. 95% of the times it's going to a builder or a developer. And what do? You go there. Knock, knock, knock. Hi, it's Brian from Banana Real Estate. When are you going to be putting this house in the market? Can I help you? Okay. Hopefully your pen's still working because I got more knowledge for you guys. I'm dropping it all. This is great. I definitely did not make this one up, but I think I've probably perfected it better than a lot of people. The mega open house. What's a mega open house? Okay. It's similar to a normal open house, but I'm going to break it down. What you do is you go on your MLS or your multiple listing services and you book an open house. Would you say, Brian, I don't have any listings. What do I do? No problem. Ask an agent at your office. Hey, can I do an open house for you over the weekend? I am super duper confident they will say yes. If they say no, ask your broker. I'm sure he has a listing. If not, ask me. I'll help you out. Okay. What you do is you book your open house. So you go in hypothetically 12 to 2. You put it on. Okay. Now what do? Now what you do is you put up 50, not 5, not 10, not 15 or 49. You put up 50 open house signs. Brian, when do we put them up? An hour before the open house? 20 minutes before the open house? Absolutely not. Now, in some areas, you can't do this because they'll take down your open house signs, but in a lot of areas you can. You put them up Friday morning. So all the people coming home from work on Friday could see your face. And then when do you take them down? Right after the open house? Not after the open house. You leave them up till Monday morning. But Brian, what happens? People are going to come Friday afternoon and just knock on the owner's door. No, you put another little sign in the ground that says open house 12 to 2. Step 2, what you do is you print out 100, not 5, not 10, not 99, 100 flyers. They don't need to be sexy, just on a piece of paper. And you knock every door in that little neighborhood and you say, knock, knock, knock. Hi, it's Brian from Banana Real Estate. I am doing a mega open house at 123 Johnson Street. I'd love for you to come. Then what you do, step 3, is you call another 100 houses right in that area. And what do? Hi, it's Brian from Banana Real Estate. I am doing a mega open house and I wanted to invite you. Then what you do, you sit at the open house and watch tons and tons of people come in and out. I guarantee you will meet a lot of buyers, home sellers. Okay. You guys are saying, Brian, some of these prospecting things are a little aggressive. What about my database? Yes, you need to prospect through your database, and I like to call it your inner circle. So what do? Well, when you first get your license, hi, it's Brian from Banana Real Estate. I just got my real estate license. I need your help. Or you just check in with your clients. Hi, it's Brian from Banana Real Estate, just checking in with you. Are you guys interested in selling? Do you know anyone who's interested in selling? You need to make these people understand that they're here to help you. Now, I get this a lot. Brian, you're super intense, but how are you so confident going to these doors or calling people you've never met on the phone? The real reason I am so confident about this is they need our help. What do I mean by that? You guys on a Sunday, when you could be binging on Netflix or the sun is out, laying in your backyard having a Corona, you've taken the time to be on this live stream to better yourselves. So I truly believe that every single person I put myself out to, every single person that I solicit, every single person that I am trying to help, they need my help. There is nobody, absolutely nobody besides us on this call and this community that's going to look out for them, that's going to get them the most money, that's going to make sure they don't get taken advantage of. And that's the mindset that you have to have. Rejection. You have to become okay with rejection. You have to take every rejection, every no, and know that it brings you 1 or 2 steps closer to a yes. Persistence. You can't expect to just do some of these items that I've done day 1, day 2. Like, it's easy to keep that energy week 1, week 2, month 1, month 2, but you have to keep doing it every single week, every single day. Courage. You have to have courage. You have to build a tolerance for rejection. You have to build a tolerance for no. Okay. Now, people say to me, they're like, Brian, you're an overnight success. And I agree with them. I'm an overnight success who has been prospecting, listen to this, 6 days a week, 4 hours a day for 12 years straight. So if you think about it, I've been prospecting 24 hours a week. Okay. Now, you guys have an opportunity to build a 7-figure business. And all you have to do is commit to prospecting 1 full day a week. You have to become so diligent, so attached to prospecting, you feel guilty if you miss it. What do I mean by that? If I miss a Monday morning gym workout, I am depressed, I am upset all day and all week long. If you miss your prospecting, you need to feel the exact same way. We're all running businesses, okay? The most important piece to a real estate business is your deal flow, your lead flow. So you need to be generating leads, which, how do you do that? Well, you don't pay for them. You prospect. I look at my business as a table, okay? So a table has 4 legs. And if you don't have all 4 legs sitting, the table is going to go over this side, go over on that side. You can't just have a 3-legged table that works. So you need all 4 legs holding the table up. And that's how prospecting works. If you prospect the expired, you prospect the for sale by owners, you prospect the cold doors, that will hold the table up. NFL players, okay? NFL players and high-level athletes. NFL players make millions and millions of dollars a year, but they probably only play sometimes a few minutes all week long. We're real estate agents. You have a chance to make millions and millions of dollars a year. But NFL players, they practice 24/7, okay? They are training all the time. They are lifting weights all the time. They are working out all the time. You guys have to be practicing. What do I mean by that? You have to be practicing your scripts. Is that a foreign word, scripts? Well, what do you say to home sellers? What do you say to home buyers? What do you say to other brokers? I literally treat myself like a high-level athlete. So what does that mean? I'm getting up early. I am watching the food that goes into my body. I am watching what media I'm bringing in, what I'm listening to, my thoughts. I am watching who I'm hanging out with. You need to become so polished where I could break into your house at 3:30 in the morning. I could wake you up out of a deep sleep and you should know exactly what to say. It's just like high-level athletes. It's just like NFL players, NBA players. Okay, so I've taken you guys from selling 3 houses to 100 houses, but now how do we go to 200 plus houses a year? Well, you do that by building a brand. Building a brand. So when I got into real estate, I noticed that real estate agents were very much transactional. Do a transaction, collect a check, cash the check. I totally despise that and did not like that. So from the way beginning, I decided I was going to build a brand. I decided I was going to build the brand around me, Brian Karp, and this face. When I first got into real estate, I made sure that if there was an opportunity to have a sign on a front lawn, I had it there. And my face was as big as possible. If it was maybe a commercial piece of property, I would have an extra large sign. If I was allowed to have 2 signs, I would have 2 signs. Real estate agents always said, Brian, you don't want a house on a busy road. They're really difficult to sell, but it's actually incorrect. Houses on busy roads is where I started prospecting. I started prospecting on busy roads because I wanted those listings because I knew I would have my sign there and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of cars would pass every single day. What else goes with brand? Well, with the brand, I wrapped my cars. I wrapped my Camry. I wrapped the truck, and everything across the brand is uniform. It's all my face. It's all the same words. It's all the same images. It's all the same colors. Now picture this. I have to bring one of my boys to soccer practice, lacrosse practice, basketball practice. I go to the driveway. I have 2 choices. I could either jump in what my kids call the face car, which is my car with my face on it, or I could jump in the face truck, which is a truck with my face on it. You have to be all in on this. Like, this is everything. You're getting 100% of Brian Karp 24/7. And that's why I could drive around with my face all over my cars. Also, we've created a jingle for my brand, which you guys got to check out. You can go on my YouTube channel. You can go on my YouTube channel and check out my jingle. We also have a nickname for me, which is the Sales Giant. I have flags with my face on it, which you can see right behind me. I have emoji. We built an emoji of me. We've even created a tagline. The tagline is high octane, high protein, super aggressive. Big brands have taglines that you guys know. Nike, Do you know? Just do it. Or Allstate, you're in good hands with Allstate. There was a time that I called someone about 10 times and left messages. And they called me back and they said, is this Mr. High Octane? Is this Mr. High Protein? I was in Home Depot and a guy went up to me, oh, it's Mr. High Octane. So they may not have remembered Brian Karp, but they remembered the tagline, High Octane, High Protein, super aggressive. We've even put my face on cookies, on dessert items, anything we can get our hands on, my face is on. Not because I think that I'm gorgeous or handsome, but this is the brand. My face is the brand. I am coaching my kids' sports. I am at the kids' school. People walk up to me and say, oh, you're that real estate guy. It's because I built the brand around Brian Karp. Great brands give back. Right now is your guys' opportunity, okay? The whole reason Charles did this, the whole reason that everybody is here and we're all working together is we're trying to raise money for the Lukemia Lymphoma Society. So take this opportunity. If you have $1, if you have $10, if you have $1 million, make a donation, because good brands and big brands give back. Let me give you some examples of what we do. So every single year, I do a summer movie. What does that mean? I buy out, not one, well, I started with one, but now I buy 1, 2, 3, 4 movie theaters out. And what we do is we open it up to everyone. We open up the community and it's 100% free. So what does that mean? Free candy, free popcorn, free soda. And we ask you guys, our community, our friends, our family, our inner circle, to make a donation. If you have $1, drop $1 in. If you have 100, drop 100 in. Just like today, if you have 1,000, drop 1,000 in. And what we do is every year we donate that money to a different charity. This year we did it for a veterans organization. We raised almost $10,000. What else? What else do we do as a brand to give back? Well, every year when I break the 100 house mark, I give away $5,000, okay? What we do is we put it out to my inner circle, my friends, my family, my social media, and we ask them to choose 3 non-for-profits that deserve the money. And we donate the money to celebrate breaking the 100 house mark. Even right now with COVID-19, the coronavirus, we're doing another giveaway. We're doing a stop and shop giveaway. So what we've decided to do is give away $2,500 in $100 gift cards. It's still going on right now, so you could jump on my Instagram, my Facebook, you'll see it. We're giving it to people who lost their jobs. Hours have been cut because of COVID-19. We're giving them a $100 gift card because this is our community. This is our family, and we want to help them, okay? Listing presentations. Everyone says, Brian, what do you tell? What do you say on a listing presentation? The truth is I talk about myself. I talk about my story, what I've been through, and how real estate is my obsession and my addiction. Every single one of you have a story. You just need to be able to present it and tell it to everybody. We all learn through stories. That's the best way that I retain information and I'm able to understand something when someone tells me a story. Obstacles, roadblocks, hurdles, excuses. Every single one of us have obstacles. I got a 900 on my SATs. I had cancer. I have a severe learning disability. Those are all my obstacles. You have obstacles, but are you going to take those and allow them to discourage you? Or are you going to take those and push through? So stop making excuses. Stop using those to say why you can't do something instead of using them to say why you can do something. So I came here to be a real life example that you could do it. You guys are actually probably more equipped than I am to do it. If you want to get more leads, if you want to make more money, you have to have more at-bats. What do I mean by that? You have to have more attempts. So I love this one. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. So what does that mean? Even that clock up there, which is broken, it's right twice a day. So even if you don't know what to say, you don't know what to do, just take action and do it. I've given you a bunch of things to start with. I don't care if you don't know what to say or you're embarrassed, just take action. What we just walked through is a real reality check, and we're still walking through it today. It's very important, and I feel very lucky and blessed that the difference between me and a lot of other people is, what do you do? What do you do with your money? So every single one of you, as I said in the way beginning, you have a winning lotto ticket. This lotto ticket allows you to make these little piles of money. But how do you turn those piles of money into streams of income forever? That's how you build generational wealth, is by taking those piles of money and putting them into streams of income. So Jessica and myself, for the last 12 years, every dollar we've been blessed with, there's no fancy cars, there's no fancy watches. We punted the nice house, we punted the vacation, and every dollar we put into rental real estate. And on this live stream, you are going to hear from the best of the best in multifamily, single family, rental real estate. What you need to do is you need to take the blessing of the piles of money and you need to turn them into streams of income, because that's how you not only change your lives and your kids' lives, that's how you change generations. That's how you build generational wealth. I'm almost done. Almost done, guys. None of you are in competition with me. None of you are in competition with your broker or any other real estate agent. You're all in competition with yourselves. So next time you look in the mirror, the goal is just to be a better version of yourself. And I'm not just in business, in real estate. My goal every year is to be a better version of myself in every aspect. So what does that mean? My marriage, my family life, my business, my real estate, my philanthropy, every single thing. Okay. Thank you. Stay healthy, stay safe. If you want more information, if there's anything else I could do to help you guys, of course, you could follow me on Instagram at Brian Karp LI. You could find me on YouTube, Brian Karp LI, or on Facebook. And thank you so much. And I hope there's still some time for some questions, JB.
Brian, that was awesome. That was awesome. Thank you so much. So, there was a few questions coming in. One was, you mentioned the learning disabilities with dyslexia. How do you manage to stay organized with that? Mm-hmm. Like, how do you keep everything going? How do you know when to follow up? How are you keeping your database? Like, what is your secret sauce to make that work?
Okay, really good question. A lot of it is got to be super organized. So I do this thing that I've been doing for a few years, which they're called mini days. Mm-hmm. And basically what I do is I'm up super duper early. So I'm up at 4 a.m. in the morning, and I have a day from 4 a.m. to 12. And what I basically do is I treat that as a full day. So by the time 12 o'clock hits, I literally have accomplished every single thing that someone can possibly do in a day. And the key is, when I am preparing for a listing presentation, when I am preparing for a meeting with a client, I'm not doing that during business hours. I'm not doing that from 8 to 7. I'm doing that at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. Right. So all I'm doing is creating more hours in the day, and I'm being super duper organized, because I know that I'm going to be a firefighter putting out fires all day long. So I want to make sure that everything is in order. All of my staff is set up so I can handle those fires.
That's awesome. Thank you for that. We also have a question from John, which I'm putting up here. Do you do mailers, and how do you quantify how effective it is? How do you track it?
John, great question. I do not spend $1 on mailers. Mailers are not effective. You want to know what is effective? You going to those doors, knocking on them, introducing yourself, and making an impression with the people, and then getting their contact information so you could follow up again with them. So no, not $1 on mailers. There we go.
It's the activities, like we talked about earlier. That's right. All right, so here we have one from MX2 Fly. How would you reach out to expireds besides conventional methods, cold calling, flyers, etc.? Any other secret sauce on that, or is it grit here?
It's grit. It really is all grit. I need you to go to the front door and introduce yourself. And like, it sounds sexy and easy when I'm speaking, but you may need to go 12 times to meet that person. And then once you meet that person, it's finding out what went wrong and what you could do to help. You have to come from a place of helping. And that's why I'm so confident about going and putting myself out there and all this rejection, because I know that I'm helping. I've had thousands of doors slammed in my face, thousands of people who would look through a window and pull back the curtain and then just walk away. But you have to go in your head and know that you're there to help them, and you're going to get them the most money, and you're going to help them above anybody else.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. So let's talk about this, because, you were actually in our studios a few weeks ago and we did a podcast together, and there was something really, we didn't even talk about the subject because the problem didn't even exist yet. Mm-hmm. A lot of agents have decided to just sit back and wait and watch while this COVID-19 crisis is going on. Now, what do you say to that? Like, would someone actually plan to basically contract during these times? Is that the right play for those agents?
And JB, your studio, anyone who hasn't seen JB's studio, it is out of control. It's totally mint. It's hooked up. He's got plasmas everywhere. Right. Honestly, right now is the best opportunity for every single one of you. You should be sharpening your axe, getting ready for this, okay? And also what you should be doing is, I started in 2008. I started right after the real estate meltdown. So I feel like this is the start over that will get rid of anyone's excuse. No one has an excuse anymore, because right. This is when Brian Karp started. Brian Karp started in 2008, where the market was flooded with expireds. You couldn't give houses away. I was begging people to buy houses. So when this market opens back up, I just need everyone to take action. Listen, you may not be able to prospect 6 hours a day, but if you're prospecting an hour a day, just double up. Do it 2 hours a day. I just need you to take some more action. That's really all. The reason I did this is I want to encourage you to take a little bit more action, but do not allow this to something for you to pull back. This is something that you got to shotgun yourself out of the cannon.
That's awesome. I want to get one more, and I'm sure there's a lot of questions. Guys, if you have any questions, you can also send an email. I'm actually going to put my information here, and we can figure out a way in the future to bring Brian on, because to keep our schedule here. But last question here, which is from John Handler, which is this. When you door knock, do you give anything to them, a flyer or folder with info on yourself or anything, etc.?
Thanks for the question, John. When I door knock, I literally take a white piece of paper, okay, like this, and I have my assistant write on one white piece of paper, "Hi, I just sold your neighbor's house. Are you interested in selling? Brian Karp, Banana Real Estate, and cell phone." And then I have her make 100 copies on my photocopy machine. That whole thing probably cost you $1.50. They're not buying, John, they're not buying the sexy flyer. They're not buying the cheerleader that pops out of the box. They're buying you, and you need to just have more at bats. So get more flyers out there, knock more doors, meet more people.
Boom.